Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another warm day in Columbia, Maryland. My name is Jalen Ivy, and I'll be your host this afternoon for a Region 20 soccer matchup on Howard Community College's campus. Today's matchup will be covering the Dragons of Howard Community College versus the Catamounts of Potomac State. Howard does come into this game with a record of 3-1 overall, and sitting and looking at a 1-1 record in the conference, sitting at ninth in the conference. And a little background on the Dragons' opponent for this afternoon: the Catamounts enter this match with an overall record of 6-3 and 1-1 in the conference. The Catamounts are on a four-game win streak at the moment, while the Dragons are sitting on their one win after their intense match last weekend versus Frederick County. And something to make note of during this match: the Catamounts are missing Alyssa Dunn, one of their top strikers for their team, who is out after an injury that she received during her last matchup.
Tyler, we're gonna do international walkout.
And we're about to get things underway here in Howard, or excuse me, here in Columbia, Maryland. So stay tuned.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dragon's Lair for today's game between the visiting Potomac State Catamounts and your Howard Dragons. National Junior College Athletic Association, Region 20, and Howard Community College promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Negative comments, profanity, racist, sexist, or other abusive comments or actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the facility. We thank you for your support and cooperation. All right, ladies, you ready? Thank you, Lorena. All right, here we go.
And welcome back once again, everybody, here to Columbia, Maryland, where this match is about to get underway shortly. The weather's nice, the sun is shining. Hope everyone out there is having a great day. All right, and this game is underway. All right, and something again to make note of during this matchup today. Number 5 for the Catamounts, Alyssa Dunn, is out after an injury in their last game against Hagerstown on September 30th. And another thing to make note of for the Dragons, number 15, Kimberly Ruano, who is the Dragons' top striker, is currently not in this match to start. Seems that the Catamounts and the Dragons are looking for a little bit of a pace here in Columbia. Trying to find a little bit of a rhythm. That ball is over to Ola Tobert. But back over to the Catamounts. Taking it down on the far side of the field. And that ball goes out of bounds and a throw in for the Dragons. That ball sent over to Marita Castillo. little bit of back and forth here on that far sideline for the Catamounts and the Dragons. But the Catamounts looking to go get away with the ball. And that ball is sent out of bounds but stays in possession of the Catamounts. That ball will be thrown in by Park. Finding Halterman. Halterman takes a shot, and that ball is into the hands of Olivia Jackson. Excuse me, that was Piles, Morgan Piles. Olivia Jackson takes the kick. That ball is sent about midfield. That ball goes out of bounds to be thrown in by the Dragons. Over to Giselle Castillo. And Vara just misses that ball. Osorio running after that ball, but Jackson picks it up. Osorio finds Castillo, but that ball just gets past Castillo. Giselle Castillo. Kicked back by Zali. Looking for an opening. Catamounts just missed that ball, and that ball goes out of bounds. That's crazy. Not the right over.
Have fun with it. Like,
And that is a shot by Morgan Piles. And that ball is tipped out by Jackson. And it seems like Kimberly Wano has just arrived to the game, basically by escort. Just arrived. She's suiting up now, tying up her shoes, hoping to get out on the field. Definitely seemed like Cinderella in her carriage, for sure. She seems in good spirits, though. A little bit of smiles on her face. Sent out by Jackson. Headed on by the Catamounts. Into the hands of Moreira Castillo. Looking for Villatoro, but just couldn't come up with it. A little bit of back and forth with Vara. That ball sent over to Cruz. Looking for Ola, but over. That ball is over to Villatoro, looking to get down the sideline. And that ball is scooped up by goalkeeper Hartley Van Glider. Melissa Villatoro definitely was trying to get a fast break attempt on that ball. That ball gets past the Catamounts. Ziegler down the near sideline sends that ball over to Piles. Now it is a matchup with Piles and Taylor, and Piles takes the long shot, and it's picked up by Jackson. A couple of shot attempts by the Catamounts early on into this match. And that ball is kicked out of bounds by Herrera. for a Dragons throw-in. Moreira Castillo. That ball goes off of a Catamounts defender. And it's back in the hands of the Dragons for a throw-in. Over to Segovia. Segovia looking for Cruz, but that ball just gets past her. Powell's taking it back down to their sideline. A little bit of a misstep for Piles. But that ball will be into the possession of the Dragons. Giselle Castillo to send that free kick. Headed on by the Catamounts. And Hernandez sends that ball just out of bounds. Thrown in by the Catamounts. A little bit of back and forth with Taylor and Piles, but Piles trying to get that ball past Hernandez. And that ball rolls out of bounds, but off of the Dragons. And it'll be a corner kick for the Catamounts. I thought were they the Wildcats at one point? No.
Always been the Catamounts.
Oh.
Big cat.
Yeah. I guess so. Corner kick for the Catamounts, and that ball is tipped up by Jackson. Ola Tolbert looking to take that ball down the far sideline. A little bit of a misstep, but still in possession. Sends that ball backwards. And there's a shoe loss on the field. That'll be Tolbert's shoe. Still taking that ball down the far sideline. It'll be to Segovia. Moreira Castillo. Just looking for Viator, but that ball just gets past her. Back to Moreira Castillo. And that'll be an offside call on the Dragons.
Good job, Brittany. That's good camera work.
Over to Prowse. That ball is kicked out of bounds by Hernandez.
That's a great question. I don't know how he did. Have you? Yeah. I have not. Have not seen her on this video.
Still in possession of Powell's. Trying to get past Hernandez. Looking for that opening, but that ball is out of her hands and back.
Good to see you, Kim. Who you got? Who are you going in for?
Moreira Castillo looked for that opening. Kept in possession of Cruz. Over to Ola. And that ball just gets past Cruz. Taylor looking to send that ball down the near sideline. But the ball gets past Taylor. And it'll be into the hands of Ziegler. Taking a long shot and scooped up by Jackson. Taylor challenges that ball, but it'll be a handball, and it'll be in the possession of the Catamounts.
23, who you got? Thank you. Is it Shakaya? Yeah.
Free kick for the Catamounts. The ball sent low. Kicked by Segovia. Sent high down to that far sideline. Over near the flag. Still being taken on the sideline. Kicked back by Giselle Castillo. Osorio was looking to take that ball down the sideline. And that'll be a foul on the Catamounts. Looks to be a little bit of going back and forth with Powell's and the ref. But it is a foul on the Catamounts. Headed on by the Catamounts. In the hands of Moreda Castillo. And Cruz looking to chase that ball down, but it just gets past her. We have some subs coming in for the Catamounts and the Dragons.
For the Catamounts, number 23, Shakaya Khan. And for the Dragons, number 15, Kimberly Ruano. You can go ahead, Kim.
Shakaya Khan will be entering the game for the Catamounts. And Kimberly Ruano into the game for the Dragons. Olatober will be coming out for the Dragons, and Ziegler's coming out for the Catamounts. It'll be a throw-in for the Dragons. Headed on by Cruz. Giselle Castillo sends that ball over. Kicked out of bounds by the Catamounts.
Some of you guys got to talk about.
That'll be Vara. Trying to get it past the Catamounts defender, and that ball is kicked out of bounds by Piles. And it'll be a throw-in for the Dragons. Looking for Melissa Villatoro. Stays in possession of the Dragons. Mereda Castillo was trying to get that ball past Kuntz. A little bit of a matchup. A long shot by Melissa Villatoro is tipped out by Catamounts goalie, Van Glider. Sent over to the far sideline. Var looking to come up with it. That ball is kicked out of bounds by the Catamounts, but for a Dragons throw-in.
Tyler, when it gets about halfway, I'll just hit the horn, stop the clock, and I'll tell the ref we'll just do it. I'll take the responsibility.
Ruano looking to get her first couple touches on the ball. Find a rhythm in this game. Taylor comes up with it. Tries to get that ball past Catamounts. That ball is into the hands of Shakai. Kicked back by Jackson. And rolls out of bounds. Bar was looking for Ruano down that far sideline. Catamount send that backward. Send that ball backwards. And that'll be a throw in for the Catamounts. Headed on by Giselle Castillo. Taylor Kirk falls to the floor.
Nah, I'm cracking up.
Thrown in by the Catamounts. The ball gets past the defender. Over to Miss Viatora. Sends the ball to Maria Castillo. Was looking for Ruano, but that ball just gets past her. Back into the hands of Taylor. Into two defenders. Powell's taking it down the near sideline. Looking to find an opening. But she is matched up with Taylor and Hernandez. And Hernandez gets that ball right past her. Maria Castillo tried to come up with it. But now it's a matchup with Giselle Castillo. And that ball was almost into the hands of Hannah Olt, but scooped up by Jackson. Ruano looking to come up with it. It'll be a throw in for the Dragons. Thrown in a Cruz. And that'll be a handball on the Catamounts. And that kick goes high for Giselle Castillo. Over to Vara. Vara trying to get past those Catamount defenders. Just does. Up onto the back of Cruz. Looking to find Ruano. Cruz looking for that opening. Tripped up a little bit by the Catamounts. That ball will be kicked in. Have a bit of a pause here for a water break. We'll be back after this.
I said he was in Coach Aaron's office doing a lot of work today. Now, if he was actually doing it or just scrolling through, I don't know.
I don't know, just copy and paste, do something.
Something. Without plagiarism.
Yeah, that.
A quick minute water break here in Columbia, Maryland, as it is 80 degrees and the sun is definitely shining. But we are back underway. Osorio trying to come up with it. Sends that ball back to Jackson. That ball's kicked high. Catamounts looking to come up with it. That ball gets past Segovia. And Osorio trying to come up with it against Hannah Alt. And that ball is sent out of bounds. And it'll be thrown in by the Catamounts. And Piles finds herself on the floor. That ball is sent out of bounds once again. And it'll be good for a Catamount corner kick.
Christ.
Bodies are piled in near that box. That ball is kicked in and tapped out by Jackson. Piles comes up with it. Lucy Segovia looking to get a hand on that ball. Kicked in by Piles. And that ball is into the hands of Jackson. I definitely do think the heat is getting to the girls a little bit, as the energy seems very low during this match. But each team is definitely trying their best to stay in this game and find a little bit of a rhythm. Segovia kicks that ball in, but towards Catamount defenders. Ruano comes up with it on the near sideline, taking that ball down, looks for an open shot, and that ball is just off the tip. And that ball is off the post, but sent in by Mereda Castillo.
Entering for the Dragons, Ola Tolbert.
It's okay, cause look, my first day doing this, you should. I was like, what am I supposed to say?
Yes.
I was real off mute saying the same things.
Hey, Shannon. Something happened to Ola's jersey? She's wearing 19. I thought she started in 16. And she's like.
That'll be a free kick for the Catamounts. That ball is sent high and over the backside of the goalpost.
Oh, it was 16. Ola to over. Yeah, I had a brain fart.
Catamounts looking for any chance here, but just cannot come up with it.
Stop the Wilk advantage.
The ball into the chest of Merida Castillo. Giselle Castillo comes up with it. That'll be Lucy Segovia, excuse me. Ola Tober looking to get past those Catamount defenders and just gets that ball passed. And that'll be a foul on the Catamounts. And that'll be a free kick for the Dragons, sent in by Giselle Castillo. That ball sent in, just gets past Cruz. Was just trying to beat that Catamount defender, but just couldn't get to it. And that'll be a corner kick for the Dragons, sent in by Cruz. That ball sent low and so close, getting past a couple of Catamount defenders, but that ball is into the hands of Hartley Van Glider. Taken back down the far sideline. Pauls comes up with it. And Giselle Castillo sends that ball back to Jackson. And that ball sent out of bounds by Jackson.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were in college. My bad.
Who are you going for? Thank you.
The Catamounts. Number 2, Bessie Halterman. Shit sound good, don't it?
tied by Piles,
Bro, he just bobbing.
grabbed by Jackson.
You gotta understand multiple athletic cultures. Basketball guys do stuff like that. Track guys will type. Ooh.
At how fast this corner?
And that'll be a corner kick
It just got
for the Catamounts. Bodies pile up into the box once again. The Catamounts looking for any possible way to score here, as they have had a number of good chances to score. The ball's kicked in. Tipped out by Jackson, and Osorio looking to come up with it. Trying to take it down the far sideline,
Injury.
but we'll have a short timeout for an
Yeah, he was checking on head injury.
by the ref, checking for an injury, but we will resume the game. There's about 3.5 minutes left in this first half. Over to Vara. Looking for Giselle Castillo. Bit of a tough matchup with Piles, and that'll be a card on Giselle Castillo after a hard tackle on Piles. That is our first yellow card of this match. And it'll be awarded to the Dragons.
Yellow card on number 11. Giselle Castillo.
You see. A little bit of back and forth for the Catamounts and the Dragons. Taylor comes up with it. That ball sent down the sideline. Segovia looking to send it into the hands of Cruz. Trying to find her way to get past this Catamount defender. And a little bit of back and forth, but the Catamounts do come up with it and send that ball over to Piles. Bit of a matchup with Piles. And Piles has a misstep and loses it. And that ball is over into the hands of Osorio. Thrown in by the Dragons. Vara sends that ball on the inside. Was looking for Tolbert, but that ball is headed on by the Catamounts. Sally Hernandez tries to send that ball down the field. Vara tries to send that ball to Cruz, but the Catamounts come up with it. And that was a bit of back and forth with Allison Miller and Cruz. Picked up by Cruz and sent back by the Catamounts. Over back into the hands of Piles. Piles sends that ball down the sideline to Jalen Ziegler. And it'll be thrown in by the Dragons.
And we have 1 minute remaining in the first half.
Bit of a matchup with Ziegler and Merida Castillo. Over to Piles. Looking to send that ball down the near sideline, and that ball rolls out of bounds. And it'll be back into the possession of the Dragons. Thrown in by Taylor. Stopped by Vara. Sent back to Taylor. And that ball will be sent down by number 10 for the Catamounts, Sarah Wharton. Picked over to Hernandez. Sent down the near sideline, but kicked back by Wharton over to Piles. That ball will be sent in a long shot by Piles over to Jackson, who was just waiting for that ball. And that is the horn for the end of this first half.
And we are at the end of the first half. Our Dragons 1. Hot State 0.
Not Pot State. And we are at the end of this first half for this Dragons and
Ciao, ladies.
Catamount
Yes, Allie.
matchup.
That was crazy.
Dragons 1, Catamounts 0. We'll be back after this. And this second half is underway here in Columbia, Maryland. Still a very warm day out here in Columbia. Still about 80 degrees currently. And the Dragons and Catamounts are looking for a bit of a start here early in this match. Taking a little bit of break, grabbing some water, and looking to get things going. We are getting a little bit of clouds, hoping for a little bit of a breeze out here. As everyone, even people that's sitting down doing it, we all sweating today. Getting our workout in up here in this box. With that ball sent down the field by Vara. Ruano looking to come up with it. Over to Cruz. Cruz trying to take that ball down the field.
Zoom that out a little bit. There you go.
But Allison Miller was matched up with Cruz. The ball set out of bounds by the Catamounts and to be thrown in by the Dragons. And that was a shot for Ruano. Another shot for Cruz. That first shot by Ruano just goes wide. But the Catamount defender sends that ball to Cruz, and that ball lands and rolls into the hands of Hartley Van Glider, goalkeeper for the Catamounts. A throw in for the Dragons. Finds Ali Hernandez. But a little bit of a tackle for Zali.
Thank you much.
And that ball will be thrown in once again by the Dragons.
I don't think cross country can get first or reason, but I think you can fight for second.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, no way you're
Hagerstown's too strong.
Hagerstown's always strong.
But Westmoreland won it last year.
Kicked into the chest of Ruano. She takes a shot, and that ball is just wide of the post. Great shot by Ruano off of a great kick in by Giselle Castillo. Dragons still looking to come into possession of the ball here. The Catamounts looking to send that ball back down, but Taylor comes up with it. That ball sent backwards over to Giselle Castillo and sent back to Jackson. Looking to send that ball over to Ruano, who heads that ball on. Lucy Segovia looking to come up with it. She has a bit of a matchup here with Ariana Herrera. But that ball is sent out of bounds and to be thrown for the Catamounts. The ball is thrown in off two bodies. Zali Hernandez looking to send that ball over to Segovia. Segovia sends that ball down. Ruano comes up with it, taking that ball down the far sideline, being followed by one defender of the Catamounts. Ball is kicked on the inside. Over to Segovia. Back to Melissa Villatoro. Cruz tries to come up with it. Stays in the possession. Pat goes to Vara. Over to Melissa Villatoro. Takes a shot, and that ball goes high and into the hands of Van Glider. Some early shots and looks for the Dragons here. We're starting off with a pretty good rhythm. And that ball sent down towards Jackson by Taylor Kirk of the Catamounts. Rolls that ball over to Giselle Castillo. Looking to take that ball down the center of the field. Osorio comes up with it on the near sideline. That ball just goes out of bounds. A little bit of a scuffle. But things are okay. Everything's okay. You should have been here for the last game. The last match. Hello? Osorio has the ball, trying to take that ball down the near sideline. A few Catamount defenders. Castillo sends that ball down the middle over to Cruz. Trying to send that ball to Ruano. Cruz taking that fast break attempt, just gets past Catamount defender, looking down the near sideline. And that ball into the knee. Melissa Villatoro, and that ball is sent out of bounds by Allison Miller of the Catamounts. It seemed like there was a bit of a fast break attempt there, but Miller just got her hands on that ball and was able to send that ball out of bounds. Ruano takes a long shot. Segovia comes up with it, but back to the hands of the Catamounts, looking to take that ball down the far sideline. Taylor chasing that ball down. Rolls out of bounds, and it'll be a thrown for the Dragons. Vara over to Segovia. And that ball will go back into the possession of the Catamounts. Thrown in. Hernandez sends that ball out of bounds. Looking for Piles. Piles trying to get past two Dragon defenders. Barr and Piles, a bit of a matchup here. Piles sends that ball down the near sideline. Oh, sorry, just a little too fast for for Catamount defender. Jalen Ziegler. Giselle Castillo. Over to Merede Castillo. Back into the hands of Castillo. And that ball will be over to Vara. Looking to send that ball over to Ruano. Ruano stays in possession. Looking down that far sideline. Looking for Cruz. And that ball goes past the goalpost. That'll be a goal kick for the Catamounts. Hannah Alt comes up with it, matched up with Segovia. Looking to get past Taylor. Alt stays in possession. A little bit of a miss kick, but Taylor comes up with it. Gets past Alt, but that ball rolls out of bounds and will stay in possession of the Catamounts. Thrown in by the Dragons. A little bit of back and forth here on that far sideline. Ball sent back down and out of bounds once again. Thrown in by the Catamounts. Kicked down the field by Piles. Giselle Castillo sends that ball over to Jackson. Kicked back in by Jackson. Alt comes up with it. Looking for Jalen Ziegler. Looking for the opening. But Jackson takes the dive and saves that ball for the Dragons. Headed on by the Catamounts. Mereda Castillo comes up with it. Sends that ball over to Vara. Over into the hands of Ruano, who has about 3 Catamount defenders on her. But that ball is sent down the field by Piles. Osorio with a little bit of a matchup. And that ball is sent out of bounds. And it'll be good for a Catamounts corner kick. Bodies piled near the box. And that ball is kicked wide of the goal and behind. Have a pause here to tie the shoe of Jackson. Clock still rolling. Ball is kicked high, headed on by Piles. Taylor Kirk trying to come up with it. It's Osorio and Kirk. Now Piles. Piles and Vara. And Castillo sends that ball out of bounds. Pereira Castillo trying to come up with that ball. Sends that ball. Segovia taking that ball down the far sideline. And sent backwards, back to the hands of the Catamounts. Ryer trying to find someone. Castillo finds Melissa Villatoro. Osorio taking that ball down the near sideline. Back over to Melissa Villatoro. Back to Giselle Castillo. And that ball will be sent back to Jackson. Back to Castillo. Dragons looking for a little bit of help here. But just couldn't seem to find their rhythm. Ball sent down by Jackson. Osorio had it, but kicks that ball over to Piles of the Catamounts. Cruz and Piles. A little bit of back and forth here. And just Castillo finds an opening, but that ball is back over to Allison Miller, who kicks that ball out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Dragons. Both teams looking for any spurt of energy here in this heat.
23 you got. Thank you.
A few good plays on both sides. Ruano trying to send that ball to Segovia. Herrera and Cruz battling back and forth. But that ball will be sent out of bounds for a Dragons throw-in. Thrown into Ruano. Cruz comes up with it. Sends that ball to Vara. Back over to Cruz. Sends that ball backwards just a little bit to Mereda Castillo. Takes a long shot. And that ball is tipped off of the hands of Van Glider, who sends that ball just over the post. And it is quite warm out here in Columbia, Maryland. But we'll have a corner kick for the Dragons. That ball is in. And Ruano tries to send that ball into the goal, but is just blocked by Catamount defenders. Segovia into the body of Ariana Herrera. And it will be another corner kick for the Dragons. That ball is sent in. Knocked out by Van Glider and kicked out. That'll be Merida Castillo over to Ashley Osorio. Back to Castillo. Trying to get past those Catamount defenders. Looking for an opening. That ball be sent over to Vara. And there is a bunch of Catamount defenders near that box. Jaylene Ziegler looking to take that ball down the near sideline. Sends that ball through the legs of Vara. But Segovia comes up with it. That ball's in the hands of Piles. And Taylor will send that ball out of bounds.
Subbing in for the Catamounts, number 23, Shakia Khan.
Khan will be checking back in for the Catamounts as Taylor Kirk will come out. Headed on by Taylor. Vara tries to send that ball back the opposite way. Piles looking for anything here. Matched up with Hernandez. And it will be a goal kick for the Dragons.
Yeah, the sun is killing me. The sun is on my ass. Soon enough. Wait till you hear my next goal. Shit gonna sound fly. Watch.
There ain't gonna be another goal this game. Watch. We won nothing.
Jackson sends that ball towards Osorio. Looking for Merida Castillo. And a little back and forth with one of the players of the Catamounts. That'll be Jalen Ziegler. And the coach, Benitez. Powell takes that ball down the... Trying to get past Castillo. And a hard tackle by Giselle Castillo. Powell still fighting herself. Trying to get back up here. Very hard tackle by Giselle Castillo on piles of the Catamounts. And a high ball. That ball goes high and wide by piles. The energy definitely seems to be dropping here in this match as the sun is beaming down on this field in Columbia,
15?
Maryland.
2?
Pass by Ziegler. Was just looking for Shakia Khan, but she just could not come up with it. That ball would be thrown in by Ziegler.
Subbing in for the Catamounts, number 15, Taylor Kirk.
And Taylor Kirk will be coming back in for the Catamounts. As Bessie Halterman will be coming out.
An official timeout for a water break.
And we will take a water break here as bodies are moving slowly off of this field, trying to find any bit of energy. But we'll be back after this. So we will have a change in goalkeeper for the Dragons. And that'll be number 22, Genesis Vara, that will take the place of Olivia Jackson. Like I said before, this heat is a little intense out here for this 2 o'clock match. Like I said before, there is a new goalie in the Dragons goal, and that'll be a corner kick for the Catamounts, and it's headed on by Zali Hernandez. Sent back in by the Catamounts and headed on once again by Giselle Castillo. And Melissa Villatoro looking to take that ball down the near sideline. Sends that ball far over to Ruano. Looking to find an opening. Ruano stays with the ball. And the ball touched over by Ola Tolbert, but it's headed on by the Catamounts. Tolbert stays with it. Keeps that ball in possession. Sends that ball over to the Catamounts defender, and that ball is kicked out of bounds by the Catamounts. Into the chest of Ruano. Headed on by Allison Miller, excuse me. Melissa Villatoro, that ball just gets past Villatoro for a long shot by Villatoro, and it'll be into the hands of Van Glider. Into the chest of Mereda Castillo, over to Osorio. Mereda Castillo keeps the ball. That ball sent over to Melissa Villatoro, who looks for Kimberly Ruano. Takes that ball back out, who is wide of the goalpost. That ball almost can be sent in by Tolbert, but it is blocked by the Catamounts. Thrown in by the Dragons. Cruz. The ball sent wide of the goal. We have about 20 minutes here left in this second half. Thrown in by the Catamounts. Jaylene Ziegler. Mackenzie Park sends that ball, tries to send that ball over to Piles. That ball sent over to Kimberly Ruano. Melissa Villatoro trying to look for an opening, trying to get back down the field. Tolbert. And that ball sent back down by the Catamounts. Hernandez chasing that ball over to the far sideline. Sends that ball over to Taylor. And that ball is sent out of bounds. And it will be a Catamount throw-in. That ball thrown over to Alt. Into the chest of Alt. And it'll be Alt and Zali Hernandez who have a bit of a face-off. Thrown in once again by the Catamounts. Shakia Khan had that ball. Now over to Jaylene Ziegler. Castillo gets her foot on that ball. And that ball goes just out of bounds. Giselle Castillo was looking for Melissa Villatoro over on this near sideline. Piles and Osorio. Piles just gets past Osorio. It's Piles and Giselle Castillo now. Piles takes that shot, and that ball is tipped off the hands of Vara. That was a great shot by Piles. Sent back by the Catamounts. And that was a shot by Hannah Alt that just went wide of the goal. Standing goalkeeper Vara was trying to get her hands on that ball. That ball looked like it was just going to get past her. And that'll be a corner kick for the Catamounts. Bodies once again piled into this box. Ball sent in. And it goes behind the goal. That'll be a goal kick for the Dragons. We will have a foul on the Dragons. The ball will be turned over to the Catamounts. We have a free kick for the Catamounts. The ball is sent in and is into the hands of Vara. Headed on by the Catamounts. Jocelyn Ortiz Cruz comes up with it. Melissa Villatoro matched up with Piles, but Piles just finds her way to get past her. And a hard tackle by Melissa Villatoro on Piles. The ball sent low by Catamounts. Madeira Castillo sends that ball over to Tolbert, but that ball gets into the hands of the Catamounts. Hernandez tries to send that ball over to the far sideline. Tolbert. Kicked high ball Osorio. Headed on by Piles. And Castillo will send that ball out of bounds. And it'll be a throw in for the Catamounts. Catamounts seem to be picking things up a little bit here on offense, looking to find a way to get a goal on the board to tie things up. Piles and Cruz, and another hard tackle on Piles. Excuse me, that tackle will be on Cruz, but Piles falls to the floor. And that will be a foul on the Dragons. A free kick for the Catamounts. Is that ball low? And that ball is headed in for a goal for the Catamounts.
Goal by number 8, Lorena Villacorta.
Hannah Alt. Hannah Alt.
Correction, Hannah Alt. Yeah, I was waiting for that.
That goal is headed in by number 8, Hannah Alt of the Catamounts, to tie this game up.
Isn't that the second time I did that? You remember I did it at we were at that that lacrosse joint.
Jaylene Ziegler. Giselle Castillo looking to take that ball back towards their way.
I know.
And it'll be Ziegler. Barr will send that ball backwards. And it'll be Cruz. Sends that ball over to Ruano. Ruano looking for an opening. That ball will be sent over to Villatoro. Ruano. And that ball rolls into the hands of Van Glider. A little under 13 minutes here to play in this matchup. Both teams looking to come up and break away from this tie game. Thrown in by the Dragons. Cruz. Back over to Osorio. Sending that ball to Merida Castillo. And that ball is kicked out of bounds by the Catamounts. Thrown in by the Dragons. Merida Castillo. Back to Osorio. Over to Ruano. Ruano try to get that ball through the legs of Mackenzie Park. Cruz. Getting past Powell's. I was like,
Subbing in for the Catamounts, number 2, Bessie Halterman.
Halterman will be coming back on the field for the Catamounts as Shakia Khan will be coming out. Throwing for the Dragons. Cruz getting past Ziegler. Finds a way to get past 3 Catamount defenders. That ball is sent backwards. Cruz sends that ball over to Merida Castillo. Sends that ball looking for Ruano, but into the hands of Piles. Osorio. But that ball remained with the Catamounts, and Ziegler sends that ball down the near sideline. Giselle Castillo sends that ball out of bounds. Catamounts and Dragons looking for any bit of energy here in these last few minutes of the game. Castillo kicks that ball back out of bounds. And it'll be another throw in for the Catamounts. That ball is sent high over to Alt. And it'll be Alt and Taylor. Hannah Alt trying to get past Dragon defenders. Castillo finds a way to get that ball and sends it back into the hands of Merida Castillo, looking for Ruano. Ruano sends that ball over to Melissa Villatoro. Villatoro sends that ball, but there is nobody out there waiting to receive that ball. That ball is to Ziegler. Hernandez. And a little bit of a misstep here as both players looked at that ball. Villatoro sends that ball just past the feet of Ruano. And Taylor will chase that ball down and send that ball out of bounds. Time winding down here during this women's game. That ball will be thrown in by the Catamounts. Hernandez trying to come up with it and sends that ball back out of bounds for another throw in for the Catamounts. And that'll be a long shot by Piles that just gets past the goal of the Dragons. Hartley Van Glider screaming to her teammates to push these last few minutes. Catamounts definitely looking to utilize Jackson not being in that goal right now. And in place of her, Genesis Vara. Ruano tried to take that ball down the sideline, but it will remain in possession of the Dragons for a throw-in. That ball will be given to Cruz. Sending that ball backwards just a little bit, trying to get a handle on it. She stays with it. Sends that ball over to Zali Hernandez. Hernandez sends that ball backward, trying to get a little bit of a handle on it as well. Taylor sends that ball on the inside, headed on by Allison Miller. Over into the hands of Jaylene Ziegler. Powell's looking to send that ball back down, but it's into the hands of Osorio. Mereda Castillo comes up with it. Back to Zali Hernandez. Trying to get to Ola Tolbert, but finds a way down the middle. Over to Villatoro. Back to Mereda Castillo. Back to Villatoro. Villatoro trying to get past Mackenzie Park, and that ball is sent long. Trying to look for Ruano in these last few minutes, but that ball is just sent wide. A little bit too hard on that pass. Zali Hernandez trying to come up with that. Sent in by Osorio. Sent over to Jaylene Ziegler. It's going to be Ziegler and Osorio. Castillo sends that ball long. Over into the far field here in Columbia. About 5 minutes left here in this matchup. Thrown in by the Catamounts. Almost headed on by Ziegler, but into the hands of Castillo. And that ball just gets past two Dragon defenders. And Varas sends that ball out. Ola Tolbert chasing that ball down. And it'll be Wharton that comes up with it. Over to Piles. Ziegler. And Castillo sends that ball back. And a good defensive save by Yoselin Ortiz Cruz for the Dragons. It'll be a throw-in for the Catamounts. Mereda Castillo will come up with it. Looking to find any way to send that ball back down the field. Villatoro. trying to make a run, a little bit of a misstep. Merida Castillo trying to find her way through the inside. Sends that ball down to Ruano. Ruano on the far sideline, trying to get past Catamount defenders. And that ball is sent between the legs of Ruano by Ariana Herrera. And there will be an offside call on the Catamounts. A fast break attempt by the Catamounts. A free kick for the Dragons.
Really? Yeah, let's do that. Because I know you're in the system.
Over to Ziegler. That ball sent over to Mackenzie Park. Sent down the field. Bessie Halterman looking to come up with that ball against Giselle Castillo. And sends that ball in. But that ball is into the hands of Vara. Vara will send that ball in. Headed on by Villatoro. That ball will be with Mackenzie Park, who sends that ball just out of bounds. And it'll be thrown in for the Dragons. Thrown in by the Dragons. Into the chest of Ruano. Ruano looking for an opening. That ball, a little bit of a misstep by Hernandez. And that'll be all who tries her best to take that ball down to the opposite end. We have about 1 minute remaining here.
1 minute remaining in the second half. 1 minute.
1 minute remaining in the second half, and that'll be a free kick for the Catamounts. And that ball is headed out and sent to Vara. This last minute, both teams looking for any bit of challenging here to try and get this ball back into their possession. Castillo sends that ball back down, but we will have a whistle on Castillo, Giselle Castillo. Time still running down here. Catamounts. That ball is over to Piles. Castillo sends that ball back out, and that ball is sent high. That ball is sent high and wide by Sarah Wharton, but that is the horn.
Final score. Howard 1, Potomac State 1.
Final score here in Columbia, Maryland for this women's soccer matchup of Howard CC versus Potomac State, 1-1. Thank you everyone for joining us. You guys have a great day.